Hello, and welcome to the Community IT Innovators Technology Topics Podcast, where we discuss nonprofit technology, cybersecurity, tech project implementation, strategic planning, and nonprofit IT careers. Find us at communityit.com.
Is it okay for me to ask you about scams?
Yes.
You feel like it? It's going to be
Let's
good?
talk about scams.
Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the Community IT Innovators Technology Topics Podcast. I am Carolyn Woodard, the host, and I am happy to welcome today my colleague, Matt Eshleman, who is our CTO at Community IT and our cybersecurity, guru, expert. So, Matt, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. It's good to be with you all today. My name is Matthew Eshleman, and I'm, as Carolyn said, the Chief Technology Officer. I have been with Community IT for quite a while. So started full-time all the way back in 2002, and have been doing a lot of different roles over time. And I spend a lot of my time thinking about and responding to different cybersecurity issues for our clients.
Yeah, and there's so much, and I know that whenever I have questions about it, I always turn to you to help understand a little bit better what the new scam is or how it's worked, or I heard about this other thing or that sort of thing. So today I wanted to talk with you. We're coming up on the end of the year, and I hope all of the nonprofits listening are having galas and doing all of the year-end stuff and having the office parties and having a good time. But there are a lot of scams that kind of circulate around the holidays, any holiday, any long weekend, it seems, but particularly the year-end holidays, because they are longer. People are out of the office, so it can be harder to check. So I wanted to ask you first, what are kind of the typical scams that go around at this time of year? If you could just kind of give us a rundown.
Sure. So I think a lot of the things that we see at this time of year are really kind of in line with the season. Many of us are getting a lot of things shipped to us. And so there's lots of shipping confirmation emails that you need to click to track your package. So the bad guys know that. And so we certainly do see a lot of that kind of those kind of phishing emails that take on those attributes, right? Click to see your package wasn't delivered, right? That really important gift that you thought you were getting. So click here to update it. And so again, I think the people on the other side of the keyboard are really in tune with what's going on from a seasonality perspective, and they take advantage of that in order to create those enticing emails for us to click on. So again, just be extra cautious about clicking on any of those messages in your inbox. Whether you're expecting a delivery from UPS or not, just kind of take that extra moment to kind of review it critically before taking that action to click.
I think it happens a lot in an office where you get the email and there might be somebody else who did get the package. So it's like there's for your own personal, well, you should be careful for your personal life too if you get that email that says, oh, we couldn't deliver your package. But I think, for yourself and your family, like, oh, I didn't order anything, or that isn't what I was expecting. But in an office situation, you might think, well, there's nobody at the front desk for some reason, and I don't know who ordered something, so I'm going to click on it and see if it's important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that's probably the seasonality item that we see a lot more kind of this time of year. It's also kind of a good opportunity, again, kind of the buying of gift cards, right? That's a preferred method. It's an easy way for like the hackers to kind of do kind of have that financial crime, get the Amazon gift cards or whatever. And so again, in your office, right? Hey, I need to buy some gift cards. I want to hand them out to the staff. Is that something your organization would do, right? So that is something where gift cards are a preferred way to basically target folks, because once the code's revealed, right, they can just use them right away.
Yeah.
And so there's not the same hurdle, even that maybe a wire kind of wire transfer has a little bit of a longer longer tail to it. So again, sharing gift card numbers and activation codes with somebody on the other side means that money is basically gone as soon as you as soon as you hand over that information.
Yeah. Yeah. Are there any other scams that either come up at holidays or that you've seen recently, like this year?
Yeah, so in terms of new things for 2026, I think some of the things that we saw that were new were kind of these spam bomb attacks followed by a friendly tech support call. So this happened actually at a couple of clients that we support, right, where somebody all of a sudden just got inundated with spam and junk messages, right? It even kind of overwhelmed their spam filters, and so they were getting hundreds of messages an hour, thousands. And then in a couple cases, that was then followed up by a call to them at their office number saying, "Hey, we're with IT. We detected that you were getting a lot of spam messages. Can we, let's help you figure out what's going on." Again, thankfully they didn't proceed with kind of interacting, but kind of the next step is, okay, let me remotely install this link. Let me, download a remote control tool to your computer. Again, all kind of things that are maybe common in end user support role, but instead of it being your trusted IT partner, it was somebody that's basically operating a scam, and then socially engineering you into taking actions like installing software on your computer that really shouldn't be there, or maybe they were going to if this happens to you personally, right? Maybe it's just a request, hey, for give me your credit card, I just need to charge you a setup fee and to solve this issue. So that was a new thing that we saw in a couple of cases this year that is really frustrating to deal with, I think, both from the end user, because it's not like, there's kind of one-off, hey, buy this gift card. Okay, you can kind of ignore that. But it really is a headache, right? Whenever you're getting hundreds or thousands of messages kind of flooding your inbox. And even if you've got really good spam filtering, it can be really tricky for those tools to navigate just that sheer volume of email. So, that was a new one for us that we responded to in a couple of different cases here in 2025.
Wow, that is so nefarious.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of the scam where you get the pop-up that says that your computer's been
Hmm.
infected and you can't close it, and it's got the number on it to call. But I guess in both of those cases, like that's the advice, right? Is if you're getting
Hmm.
an inbound call or you get a new number to call, don't call it. Like call your established, the person you always talk to, report it to somebody, call our IT, like our help desk or whoever your help desk is yourself, not this other random person.
Yeah, I think that's exactly true. And I think, as I was reflecting back on, okay, so what are some things that we can do that are, to help prevent these kind of attacks from occurring, or maybe how can we educate or have better practices to respond? That actually still hasn't changed. So there might be new attacks, right? We didn't even talk about, kind of AI, kind of voice phishing or deep fakes, between video and audio,
Oh,
to emulate other people's voices, right? There are lots of really tricky things out there, but some of the oldie but goodie cybersecurity advice is still really relevant, maybe with some updates, right? So now we're working with organizations to implement, phish resistant MFA, right? That maybe with a more secure app on your phone or a physical security key, right? So having that in place is still a really good security control to have in place. Having pre-established contact information or purchasing protocols that are well communicated and documented, right? So it doesn't matter how tricky the adversary is in terms of like presenting you an invoice that looks really realistic. If your process says, okay, like here's our procurement process, and here's the number to call to verify payment information, and we don't verify payment information off of information provided over email, right? Or the CEO says, hey, sometimes we buy gift cards for our staff, but if we ask, like, here's my number, and this is the number you should call, instead of responding to the contact information that's provided in a chat message or WhatsApp or wherever the method might be, right? those kind of pre-established processes, really help kind of regardless of the changing environment or situation or how sophisticated these attackers might be. And so kind of resting in some of that confidence, I think is important to establish that overhead. So you're not, hey, let's try to figure out the next new thing and how to combat this. It's no, like we have established processes and practices, just follow those. And that really goes a long way to protecting your organization.
Yeah, it gives you, I mean, I know you need to be suspicious, but it also, if you know that you have a strong password and you have strong MFA, then you have protection that you should feel fairly confident in. So that is what they're trying to get around, right? They're trying to get you to not do your established process or to do a workaround. And I think that's also where the holidays becomes that social engineering and that sense of urgency, like we need to do this now. We just changed our number that you need to wire this to, and the person who's usually here isn't here. And so they're trying to give you that sense of urgency that you can help them out by doing a workaround. And that advice of just always follow your established procedures. Don't let them trick you into working around.
Yeah, exactly.
And that happened. Well, I guess it wasn't totally a workaround, but I was working on our website. I maintain our website, and it was the Friday evening. It was like 5 o'clock before the long Christmas holidays, and I couldn't get into the website. Had been a bot, too many attempts. And I freaked out. And unfortunately for him, one of our colleagues was still had his little green light was on our Teams, so I knew he was still working. And I texted him right away, like I don't know what to do. And he's like, "Well, do you have a strong password?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, And do you have MFA?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well then." They're just trying. They're not going to be able to get in. Give it 20 minutes. It'll like calm down and it'll let you in again, which is exactly what happened. But they're trying to get you on those, the end of the day, before a long weekend, before the holidays. And it can give you a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, that's true. And I think especially for, organizations maybe that are still maintaining some on-premise server infrastructure, we're already past Thanksgiving. That historically for us had been a time where, the number of security alerts for kind of just mass brute force login attacks, it really ramped up, right? Wednesday, we could count on it like year after year because I was often the kind of the escalation point over some of those weekends. And you could see it like Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern before Thanksgiving, like these attacks would just start because the attackers know, right? Hey, this is the US, they have a long weekend, right? They're a really long weekend. And so it gives them a lot of time to test systems that may not be monitored as closely as other times. That's shifted a little bit, right? Obviously, with some of the shift of resources to the cloud. But, I think the attackers and adversaries definitely know when the holidays are, when people are away, and again, combining that knowledge, leveraging AI, right, to create compelling narratives to get people to click on things or open stuff. This is the time of year, right? We have fundraising appeals, we have shipping information. There's lower staff, right? That maybe new devices, right? People are getting, maybe getting a new phone for Christmas, right? So, hey, I need to add this new device as my MFA method, right? There's lots of different avenues to exploit during this time of year. And again, so just make sure you take a moment, trust your gut, and then know that you have an established process or pathway to talk to somebody just to look at this and get another set of eyes on it. So, the adversaries really take advantage of that compulsion to act and act quickly, or you're looking on your phone and maybe don't see the full context of the message. These are all areas to just, hey, take a moment. It's going to be okay. Look at that email critically. And if you have a question, you already have the number in your phone or on your computer to talk to somebody directly as opposed to just calling them back on whatever number that they provide.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. And so that would be another thing maybe to have people think about is even if you're rushing, you want to get out of the office or you want to get out of your home office and get doing what you need to be doing for a holiday. Just keep that suspicious, particularly in those hours, like the around closing time, basically.
Yeah.
Because it also gives the criminal, if you click on that thing and you don't realize it until you come back a week later, then they've had that whole week to be in your system to do the thing. So, and just think to yourself, like, is somebody really going to be emailing me at 5 o'clock on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving to do something? It's probably a scam. Yeah. And I wonder too, this is making me think about your disaster preparedness guide or your incident response plan. And you did a webinar with us last summer about doing the tabletop exercise and kind of going through, like, if we had some kind of an incident, are there weaknesses in our plan, that sort of thing. And I wonder if that might be another piece of advice before the holidays or this time period between Thanksgiving and the holidays to really go back over your paper copy of the phone tree. Like, who do you call if there is a crisis, a problem, when it is the holidays? Because it may happen that somebody clicks on that link at 5 o'clock because they just want to get out of the office and they wire the money to the wrong place. So then they have to know, who do they call? Who is on call? Like you said, sometimes you're the one who is answering the phones over the weekends. So having that information in front of you, I think, may be something good to review at this time of year. Hopefully you won't need it.
Yeah, exactly. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. But again, as you identified, this time of year, especially with people being out and traveling, and again, maybe having new phones or new devices, it is good, before everybody checks out for the end of year break. Like, if there is an issue, like, who is around or who is available, right? Somebody might be traveling and not be in your incident response plan, right? So who is the backup? Who's the next person if the person maybe primarily responsible for handling the incident is they're whatever in the woods of northern Wisconsin, right, where there's no cell phone and no internet, and so they can't manage the incident response. So who does that fall to? And so that's a good opportunity. Again, you probably don't want to rewrite your incident response plan at this time of year, but you want to make sure that you have those alternate contacts in place. Make sure the contact information is all verified and checks out, and the people that know that they're the backup, they've been informed and they're expecting it as well. So.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. So I think if I want to just quickly review before we end, so we want people to be suspicious, be maybe particularly extra suspicious because of the holidays. We want people to have the processes in place, right? So have strong passwords, have MFA, have the way that you're supposed to do things, the way you're supposed to verify them. Don't use workarounds. Don't let somebody talk you into doing something out of the way you usually do it. Review that incident response plan and the phone tree of who you call if there is an incident, and just make sure that's all up to date. Anything else you would say?
No, that sounds like a pretty comprehensive list. And feel free to take time off. It's okay. You're the phone and the email will still be there, when you get back. So, it's okay to take a break.
Exactly. It's important. It's important to take a break and enjoy this time of year. And so I think you can even relax a little bit more if you've taken some of these steps to be as safe as possible.
Yep, exactly.
Great. Well, thank you, Matt, for sharing this with us and with our audience. I love that you take time out of your holidays and end of the year stuff that you're working on to make sure we're all up to date on all of this.
Yep, you're welcome. It's good information to share, and hopefully this, again, prevents somebody from being victimized by the cyber criminals that are out there.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Carolyn.
Community IT does these free webinars and podcasts for our community, and we love sharing our knowledge and experience. If you have more questions or are having trouble with your IT at your nonprofit, please get in touch with us on our website, www.communityit.com, so we can start a conversation or schedule an assessment. Downloading any of our free resources there will get you signed up for our webinar reminders, and you can attend our next webinar in real time and ask our experts your own questions. If you love podcasts, please subscribe and leave us a rating to help others find this leadership resource for nonprofits.